It's Joseph with the Owen 30 Mosquito Creek Lumber Company Swamp Logger Railroad. We're back out on the porch again. Relatively a nice spring day after some cold temperatures, so I thought I'd take advantage of it and get outside. We'd like to pick up where we left off with part one. This is part two of finding great scenery materials in your own backyard. And last time we went and we collected a whole bunch of sticks and branches and twigs and brought them inside and then checked them out. We're going to go back into the workshop here in the layout room in just a little bit to start working on what we collected. But as a little bit of review, let's see what we were doing in the last video. All right, we're outside now in the yard, and we're going to take a look around and see what kind of scenery materials we can find for more logs, trees, just a bunch of junk. And here's something that might work. That looks pretty good. Like I say, I'm always looking for things that could be junk that's in a creek. Oh, look at this here. That looks like it got eaten a little bit by the winter or snow blower or something. That'll make a lot of logs and a couple trees. Let's look around a little bit more. All right, so it's as simple as that. Just walk around the yard, you find stuff that looks cool that could be in scale, and for your scale, whether it's O scale or HO or N, and then you can utilize that on your layout for scenery materials. One thing I would recommend, although we had a pretty cold winter here in northern Iowa, I would recommend once you gather stuff up, throw it all in a garbage bag, a plastic garbage bag, spray a little bug spray in there to kill all the critters off, kind of fog it real good, tie up the bag and just let it sit for about a week to kill anything that happens to be burrowed inside. You don't want to bring those things onto your layout and all of a sudden all your trees are falling over. And then once that's done, bring them out and get started. So why don't we head back into the train room once again, and let's see how we process all the materials that we picked up in part one. All right, I've got some of the longer pieces that we collected out in the yard, some smaller ones, and I've put the larger diameter logs and branches to the side. What I want to do is cut some smaller logs out of these. Some of these could be used for trees, but these are more for either smaller logs to fill in with the bigger logs on the flat cars or what have you. My logs are 22 feet in O scale long. I've got a little mark on the scale ruler there. But what I normally do is I'll come in here. See, there's a few nubs right here. I'll take some snippers and kind of snip those guys off. Go up here, take this one off. You can kind of grab it and pull it off or cut it. Usually cutting them flies them away. This will make it easier to have it lay flat when we want to. Hey, that's a tough one right there. There we go. All right, so we got those out of the way. I'm going to start here. Got a little miter box and my razor saw. I'm going to start right here, making my first cut right below that branch joint there. Get my 22 right about there, roughly. Some of these I can tell are going to end up being stuff that's laying around at the log landing that isn't really revenue for the lumber mill. Try another one here, roughly 22, and line that up. Okay, and stuff is always flying here at the Mosquito Creek Lumber Company. All right, so we got a couple logs there. I'll put them with the rest of them, and now let's tackle some of the bigger ones. I've got this one here that could be a tree, but I think I'm going to use it for some old logs that are laying around. Now, my logs on the layout that go on my flat cars are 22 feet scale long, O scale. So what I'm going to do to make it kind of easy is put a little cutting scale here. So I'll take some painter's tape, throw down a piece like that, and then measure out 22 feet. So I'll go from right here, get a Sharpie, boom, boom, boom. 22 feet is right here. So I use that. And so put my log in there, and I know 22 feet is going to be right there. Put the next one in, 22 feet, etc., etc. So we got that one. And this big dog, I'm going to be needing something that's a little bit more hefty than this little saw. So here's Big Daddy. So we'll put the razor saw away. Now I want to get a smooth start here. So what I'm going to do is kind of plan this cut out a little bit. My bracket for my airbrush is over there, so it's not letting me get in too close here. So I think that looks good from here to there. If you wanted, you could put a block of wood down here as a stop. But we'll get started. Gonna make a cut. Got this. Come on in here. And I'll get rid of that by cutting this log to 22 feet. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. That wraps up the two-part series on finding great stuff for scenery materials in your own backyard. I hope that was interesting and helpful for you. Didn't cost you much, because we like cheap stuff around here at the Mosquito Creek Lumber Company Swamp Logger. Cheap wine, cheap cigars, and cheap merchandise. And speaking of merchandise, if you wouldn't mind, head on down to the description below. You'll find a link to the tea store for the Mosquito Creek Lumber Company, and you can get some cool merchandise like this guy here. Mugs, t-shirts. I got some samples in that I want to show you in a subsequent edition of the YouTube channel here. Also, I have another layout that I'm working on too at the same time. This one's HO scale. It's the Big Island Rail. I don't know if you've heard of that, but it is stacked underneath the Mosquito Creek Lumber Company layout. Please subscribe. Please hit the notification bell if you would. Appreciate that. And until next time, keep swatting those skeeters and keep model railroading. Thanks a lot. Appreciate your support. Whew. Wow. Mama's making some strong coffee around here. You know, go down there and hit the subscribe button. Also go down there and for sure hit the, what do they call it? Oh, the notification bell. And if you would, go down in the comments, not the comments, the, there's obviously nothing in here.